What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode, opening up another podcast here to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Let's get started here. Of course, I'm joined here by Mythic. What's up, man? How are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. How are you doing?
Good. Can't complain. Cardinals coming off a win, so definitely better than a loss for sure. Obviously taking down the Steelers here 24-10. We're going to dive into this game right now, and obviously with other topics we're going to be diving into as well today. But let's start off here with the elephant in the room. Cardinals beating the Steelers. How do you feel about this game? Explain to me what happened.
Man, the defense yesterday, I want to go ahead and give flowers to every single person. Like Kyler Murray, obviously the stats weren't like popping out at you, right? You're not going to look at it, but if you like watch the game, you know that Kyler Murray played such an impact on this team, getting the team into field position, making the defense respect them. And later in the game, obviously the run game was super dominant. And a huge reason to why is because they were fearing Kyler. And then on top of that, James Conner in the fourth quarter alone, like James Conner was averaging like 2.4 yards a carry, I believe, up until the fourth quarter. And he was struggling. And I was like, wow, he's not having a good game. I streamed a little bit and I was like, he's not having a good game. I was like, hopefully he pops off for like a couple big runs here. Like he's not having a good game. 3 in a row. Right after that, just 3 in a row. James Conner really turned up in the fourth quarter, led this offense. Even with the lack of receiver talent, we still went out here and the offense put up 24 points. And this defense came out here, although their run game was like pretty solid. It was good for what the Cardinals have. And they held the Steelers to 10 points.
Yeah.
And then I also want to give Matt Prater's flowers as well. I mean, 50, 60-yard field goals are just like nothing. Even in bad weather conditions, he bombed one from like 50-something, I believe. So, I mean, just shout out. And then Chris Boswell missed one from like 40 for them, 30 something from them. So, I mean, I just want to give him his flowers too. Just give this whole team their flowers because this was a very impressive win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that an overall team win in general was really, really good. What a weird game though. Like we're not used to weather delays at all. Like we don't deal with them at all. And we dealt with what, like 2 of them in this
2.
game. Obviously there was a delay before coming back into the half, and then there was another delay that happened. So it was just a really, really weird game that lasted longer than the usual 3 hours. So you had to kind of put your emotions aside for a little bit, get the stuff that you needed to get done. And it was just really weird. But obviously the Cardinals end up winning this game 24-10. And I do think overall an impressive win for the team in general. Like you said, I don't think Kyler Murray had a spectacular game, but a game managing game is what we needed. And that's exactly what he delivered. 13-23, 145 yards, 1 touchdown. Now, some might say he might have had another touchdown, or his numbers could have been skewed a little bit if Rondale Moore could have caught that ball. And then the other one where Rondale Moore actually caught it, but it was brought back into from a holding call. So numbers could have been a little skewed there. But overall, what was your sense of Kyler Murray's, just play in general in this game?
If I had to give him like out of 10, I'd say it was a solid 7.5, because from what he has out there, you don't have your number one like big body target. And then Hollywood Brown has been playing injured for the past like 4 or 5 weeks, it feels like. And he's just been such a non-factor that it's like, I'm pretty sure he got ruled out halfway through the game. So then our number one receiver was Greg Dortch for like the second half. And then we had Rondale Moore. And then you had, what's his name? It's Basilia.
Yeah. Something like that.
He came in. He was our wide receiver 3. So it's like, that's what you were rocking with. And then obviously Trey McBride is just exploding too. I forgot all about him. Shout out Trey McBride, man. Star in the making.
Yeah.
And then I feel like Kyler did everything he had to do. He could have had 2 touchdowns for sure, because the phantom call, like they didn't even show a flag or anything. People in my chat were just like, oh, they called it back. I'm like, how'd they call it back? There was like no flag that popped up or anything. And then they like panned out and it was 3rd and 15. It made no sense. It was supposedly a holding. And then I like rewatched the play and I couldn't see it. So it's like,
I don't know. That Rondale Moore touchdown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hold was necessarily, because I even watched it back and I still don't know. I feel like we got gypped out crazy because it was like just super phantom. One of those calls, like the Hollywood Brown push off, supposedly.
Yeah.
It felt like one of those because I promise you, I couldn't see a hold. Like it made no sense.
Yeah, no, it's odd, man. The game was weird. I think the weather delay also added a level of weirdness to it. Now, obviously, refs can't determine, weather, but it always does kind of feel like there is like a player or two that it's like a head scratching. And I think that just might be throughout the whole entirety of the NFL. Like, just the NFL is just so weird this year, man. Like, refs are really having a big, impactful determination on how these games are shaking out. And I'm not one to blame the refs, but it's kind of becoming a lot more obvious and a lot more annoying as a fan watching a football game. But yeah, no, I agree with you that bomb to Rondell Moore, which was a really good catch. I'm not gonna lie, that was a
Fantastic
really good
catch
catch.
on the head of Pat P too.
Yeah.
I
Really good
mean,
catch. It was very unfortunate that ended up coming back, but there was another throw that he ended up kind of
yeah,
dropping. Rondo Moore didn't leave this game with good, like, on paper numbers at all. He ended up leaving the game with 1 reception, 6 yards. Like, that's it.
yeah, and I mean, he had the big one that you're talking about very early on in the game. I
Yeah.
believe first quarter where he dropped it. It was a really bad drop, but then he also had that one where he kind of like came back, and then obviously the head tap on Pat P, which doesn't count unfortunately, but crazy catch. And I actually have the clip. Like, try to tell me where the hold is on this.
Yeah.
Because
on the move, Murray to the air. He needs the 28, and he throws and caught by.
where's the hold?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, especially because the thing pans over to the to the play. But it might be one of those situations, man. It might be one of those things exactly how like the Marquise Brown thing is, where they're like pass interference, offensive, and this man didn't even touch anybody. Like, literally, he was like 4 or 5 feet away from anybody. I don't know, man. These refs are wild, man. They're out here wilding, but like that could have been a really good play, really good play. And of course, with the whole situation of like Rondo Moore had a really good play in the Texans game, but it almost kind of seems like it's like 1 or 2 very impactful plays. But that one right there should have been an impactful play for Rondo, and it's unfortunate that it got brought back.
You're right. And the worst part is they didn't even call it like on like during the game. Like, they literally didn't show the flag. They didn't pan to the referees. It just showed the touchdown. They replayed it, and then they panned back over, and it was 3rd and 15 for the Cardinals. It was so weird.
Yeah. Really weird. Now, obviously, the Cardinals win over the Steelers. You had an inkling that they were going to win this game, right? Or at least you wanted to be positive. So kudos to that. To me, the way I thought this game was going to shake out was the completely polar opposite. I thought it was going to be domination, but for the Steelers side, I never thought in 100 years that the Cardinals are going to come out here and show this type of performance. So definitely kudos, and I'm glad I'm wrong, because honestly, I'm still on board with wins are a lot better than just kind of accepting losses and just kind of showing your belly heading into 2024. But man, I did not expect the Arizona Cardinals to beat them the way that they did, 24-10. And let's be honest, it should have been 24-3 because that last touchdown was garbage. But do you think? Let me ask you this real quick: Kenny Pickett, he didn't play the rest of the game. Do you think he would have made more of an impact if he was playing, or do you not think so?
No.
Yeah.
Not an impact to win the game.
Yeah.
I had heard people like, oh, Kenny Pickett was ruled out. Okay. He didn't do anything. Like, he was so unimpactful in this game. Like, the Steelers offense is just so bad for some reason. And I feel like they have talent. Like, I feel like they have decent weapons like Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Jalen Warren. They have 2 running backs.
Yeah.
And a decent O-line, not great, but like they have pieces. For the Cardinals to put up 24, I feel like the Steelers should have put up more, but or they at least had the potential to put up more. And Deontay Johnson gets that touchdown late, and that's like all they have when the Cardinals are just giving them dink and dunks, and time just keeps rolling. Like, they don't care if you take 5, 6, 7 yards. Like, it's going to take you 4 minutes to get down the field. They did that. And then Deontay Johnson finally gets in the end zone. He starts celebrating, and I'm like, here we go. Here we go. We're taunting. Like, he was like legit celebrating like that touchdown catch is going to do anything. It was like Greg Dortch hitting the too little. Down
exactly like
a
that.
gazillion points. It made no sense, but the Cardinals defense was balling.
I know, I agree with that. I think obviously I think if I were going to give the more flowers, it's definitely going to be to the defense, because I think everything changed for the Cardinals the moment that we stopped them in the 4th and short.
Yep.
Like that's when it all kind of changed and the offense started clicking, because obviously it took 99 yards for the Cardinals to score, and that's obviously huge. It's good momentum for the Cardinals, but like we've seen our share of struggles in the beginning of that game as well. Like in the beginning where I was like, oh boy, here we go again. But man, kudos to the offense for waking up. Kudos for the defense for, stopping them when it was needed, because momentum could be shifted, right? If they did go ahead and go for that 4th and made it, you don't know. Momentum is a son of a bee. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens for the remaining 4 games. But obviously, we're heading into our bye week, and it's a good feeling that the Cardinals end up coming out here and winning against them, when I don't think anybody had the Cardinals winning them realistically. I don't think anybody had the Cardinals beating the Steelers, especially in the way that it actually came out. So let's talk about the performances here real quick. We talked big time last week about James Conner getting 6 carries. Can you talk to me about how impactful James Conner is, and the fact that you have to freaking give him the ball? Because this man had 2 touchdowns, 25 carries, over 100 yards on the ground. What are your thoughts here on James Conner?
He played so good, especially in that 4th quarter. Like he really turned up on that last couple drives. Like he was willing his way down the field. Bad rain conditions, obviously, so the run game needed to be a big X factor. Our O-line was struggling very early on. Kyler Murray was under duress all game. James Conner was getting eaten in the backfield. Like it looked like our O-line was going to sell us completely. And then you see James Conner starting to read things perfectly, start finding the holes, starting to bounce to the outside, making plays, getting those like 6-7 yard gains. And then James Conner exploding in that 4th quarter. And when James Conner like got into the end zone for the first time and he went to the sideline, if you like see the way he interacted with the coaches, you could tell the coaches wanted this one for him.
Yeah.
Like one of those games like Kyler Murray coming back against the Falcons, you can like see the intensity's up, like for that player especially. Like Jonathan Gannon, when Kyler Murray scored and against Atlanta, was turning up.
Right.
James Conner scored. He came to the sideline, pumped. And then you see James Conner, they kept panning it to him. He was like, let's go. Like you just see him like getting hyped or whatever. I'm happy for James Conner, man. This is a game that I really wanted him to get in the end zone and crack 80 yards. And he did more than that. That was what I wanted from him. And I wanted to see him get the ball. But I mean, James Conner, just phenomenal game in bad weather conditions. I don't think you could have asked for a better game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Another thing that happened in this game, where I feel like obviously a big night and day difference, short of only giving James Conner 6 carries last game, but this game here we saw a lot more Kyler Murray under center.
Yep.
What happens there? It seems like the offense started to actually click again. What do you think happened in this game? Why are we seeing more under center? You think it's just game plan? Do you think Drew Petzing finally figured it out? Like, what do you think is going on?
It could be just comfortability for Kyler and Drew Petzing, like finally getting to that point where Kyler feels comfortable running it, because maybe they like ran it or whatever and it just like didn't look fantastic and they just wanted to get a couple more like practice reps or whatever. Maybe it is just scheme, right? Like maybe it is just week to week basis. Maybe it's like they feel like shotgun is better, or like a spread type of offense is better week to week. I really don't know. Like we just got to keep looking as the season goes on and kind of evaluate and see if they go back to shotgun. But Kyler Murray under center, like I said, has been fantastic. You see it, Cardinals fans see it, everyone wants it. Like it's Kyler Murray under center running the bootleg and like the little bootleg rollout to a dump off pass that leads to 10 yards, or Kyler Murray scrambling, or it leads into a legit handoff because they have to be honest. It's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray could fake it and just bootleg completely and outrun everybody. So Kyler Murray under center is game breaking, and I love it. I really do. It's just Drew Petzing, I really hope keeps up with it.
Me too.
Are you feeling the same way?
Yeah, no, yeah. It's just one of those things, is a head scratcher. I'm just like, I don't understand. I get game plan. They want to mix it up every time, but like there has to be a mode where like in the middle of the game, if it's not working, switch it. You know what I mean? Like I wish that there were some adjustments between games, but because like under center, Kyler Murray's thriving, right? And I don't think he had the best game this game, but like I don't think he needed to. I think this was the James Conner show, and that's exactly what we ended up seeing. Like he was the one who made this offense click, and obviously when Kyler Murray needed to make the throws, he was able to do so. Trey McBride having another huge game and a touchdown that should have been giving him that touchdown at the end of the end zone, but obviously we ended up going right back and just getting another touchdown as well. So that's why that one is not really talked about a lot, because he literally just got a touchdown right after the next play. So, but Trey McBride, man, this man is shining to be the tight end that I think everybody is excited to see. But not only that, let's talk real quick. Amari DeMarcado ended up getting hurt in this game. Very, very unfortunate. A ball that probably shouldn't get thrown to Amari DeMarcado. But obviously, it was the Pittsburgh guy that ended up, he probably could have pulled back too, because that ball was nowhere near anywhere that this guy could catch. But anyways, Michael Carter ended up coming in. What are your thoughts on Michael Carter? Just a small sliver of what we've seen from Michael Carter as a running back.
I believe he had like 6 yards of carry. Let me go ahead and look that up real quick. And obviously,
4 carries, 25 yards, 6.2 yards of carry.
Yeah. So Michael Carter's looked pretty good. Obviously, his first game, it was a lot of dink and dunk yards, just like the free yards. So it's hard to make an evaluation there. But this game, he came in and made some solid plays when given the opportunity. When his name was called, he came in here, made impact plays. We weren't seeing that from Keontae Ingram when he came in. Right, we'd have Keontae Ingram come in, and it would be a lot of side-to-side running or a lot of like 1 to 2 yard gains, maybe a gain of 0. Michael Carter came in here, and like those 25 yards are huge, right? 6.2 yards a carry. That's huge for a backup running back. You come in here, you make your plays, and you come and do your job. Obviously, he might get a bigger role, which could help with James Conner's durability, which is one of the biggest knocks on his game, is James Conner staying healthy, because when he's playing, he's fantastic. But how many games is he going to play?
Yeah,
that's the question. So if Michael Carter can come in here and like genuinely provide backup running back role that we've kind of missed in Chase Edmonds, that would be fantastic.
I agree. No, I agree with that. What we've seen so far, I think they were really trying to give Amari DeMarcado the nod, because they believed in him. It sucks that, sometimes it takes an injury to get an opportunity, but I like what I've seen from him a little bit, right? The little spurts that we've seen, just the way that he runs, I like it. Has the elusiveness with him. Not the biggest guy out there. Now, obviously, the Arizona Cardinals ended up claiming him on waivers. He was a 4th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, that the Jets ended up getting him. So right now, the contract still stands that we have him for 2023. And then 2024, he is still under contract as well. But, like, the cap hit is very minimal. Like, we're talking about $400,000 this year and then $1 million next year. So, like, it is minimal. If the Cardinals want to continue to bring him in as maybe a 3rd string running back, or maybe he shines, who knows, in training camp, maybe the 2nd string, who knows. But I like Michael Carter. I truly do.
Yeah, I like what he does in the receiving game as well. And obviously we haven't seen a big sample size, but even game 1 in the dink and dunk, Michael Carter was making plays. So there's a lot to be coveted from him in my eyes. Like, he still has to learn the scheme, get caught up and everything. So maybe with the full off season, he does take the running back 2 reps, because DeMarcado's been here since training camp.
Yeah.
Earned his spot on the roster.
Yep.
So he kind of has been in this scheme for a long time. And Michael Carter's been here for 2 weeks. So maybe over time, maybe he gets hoisted in there now, because he's had that time. And obviously DeMarcado going down and then Keontae Ingram getting cut. Doesn't really have a choice with Marlon Mack still in IR. It's either him or Tony Jones, and you got to give the nod to Michael Carter in my eyes. Yeah. So we're probably going to see a lot more of him going in. Who do we play next? 49ers?
Yep. Got our bye week this week, and then the 49ers, which they absolutely demolished the Eagles this last week. So,
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not like, it's tough because you want to be optimistic about the 49ers game, but we put a fight the last time.
We did. No, we did.
But we got blown
I remember Kittle saying that, even they even said it. Yeah, we put up a fight. I mean, and there's a thing too. It's a division game. Like, you never know. Like, I mean, obviously roster per roster, the 49ers have a superior roster than the Arizona Cardinals. And that's not, debatable there. We know that. But the thing is that, like, it's a division game. You never know. I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to win, but I think what the Cardinal fans want to see is just kind of the same thing that we've been seeing. Put a fight up, man. Put a fight up and just don't get demolished. I think it's what we're looking for.
Literally, just put up a fight. Like, I just want to see, because the 49ers are, when going into the season, when you'd say they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and they just have so
100%.
much talent, and you have Brock Purdy just refusing to fall off, refusing to sit here and dive into all the hearsay outside of that organization, like, oh, Brock Purdy's a bust. He just clapped all over Philadelphia, who was 10-1. Clapped all over him. So I'm saying Brock Purdy's legit. People, like, even 49ers fans question it. I'm like, Purdy's legit. The footwork is there. The reads are there. The progressions are there. Like, you can say he's a system player all you want, but they've had Jimmy Garoppolo, who played okay, right? Obviously took him pretty deep in the playoffs a couple times.
Right.
But that's like game manager at its finest. If you want to talk about game manager at its finest, this is one of the best that you could probably have in the NFL right now. And this is Mr. Irrelevant we're talking about.
It's crazy.
Insanity. Brock Purdy came in here and literally is like one of the best quarterbacks. And obviously, I think he has 2 losses in his career? 3 losses?
Yeah, but I think
4?
2 or 3.
Because he got concussed, and I'm pretty sure they lost a couple.
Yeah. Right
so they
now,
might
I
have
think
like
they have
4.
3 losses in their record right now, and yeah.
Okay, so I think he's at 4 in his career because they count that Eagles loss because he did take snaps, which is it's tough to go that way because they really didn't have a quarterback like that.
Yeah,
and I mean Deebo Samuel came out here and said if we had Brock Purdy, different game.
Yeah,
this wasn't even close. Year 2,
it's
different
crazy.
teams, granted, but it wasn't even close. Like this looked like it didn't look like the Eagles were 10-1. It didn't.
Yeah.
I tuned in. And it was a close game, right? Philadelphia pushed it in with Jalen Hurts, the tush push. Like, that's when I started tuning in, and it was like 12-21 or something. And then it just got ugly. I was like excited, like, oh, yeah, they punched it in. Let's go ahead and make it competitive. It wasn't competitive. The 49ers just took it over. And, of course, it's the next opponent we play. So we'll see because we got back-to-back Eagles and Niners. So we play both of those teams.
No, actually, I think we have the 49ers and then the Bears, right? And then the Eagles.
Let me check. I know we play both of them.
We do play both of them, yeah. We got the I think it's the 49ers, Bears, Eagles, and the Seahawks. I think that's the order. No, I'm mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Let's go ahead and look it up. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So it's 49ers, Bears, and then Eagles all in December.
And we might have a little gimme in the Bear, but I don't know. At this very moment, I just want the Arizona Cardinals to play competitive. Like that's truly what I'm looking for. Is I want this Arizona Cardinals team to be just competitive moving forward. And what we've seen in this game, it gets people excited. It gets people excited about the future. And obviously with the draft picks that we have and the money that we're gonna have in this offseason, I'm excited, dude. I'm really am. So 49ers not going to be easy, but we'll wait for next week to fully talk about the 49ers. Let's talk about something else here real quick. Continue to talk about Cardinals versus Steelers, but let's talk about Marquise. We talked a little bit about him last week. He didn't really have production again this week. I think he ended up leaving this game. Actually, he wasn't able to finish it. He ended up getting hurt. But Marquise Hollywood Brown, man, what is your level of confidence in Marquise, either A, getting paid, B, being the guy, or I don't know, just overall, what are your thoughts on Marquise Hollywood Brown?
It's tough. This past couple weeks have not been good for him. Since Kyler's came back, he really hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't really doing much with Josh Dobbs here either.
Yeah.
And I really thought that Hollywood would step it up. Like, he had a decent game, I believe, against the Rams. I think he had almost 100, but it's just yesterday 0 receptions. I'm pretty sure. So
you're 100% right.
0 receptions, and I think the game before the Rams one, it was either 1 or 2, and it was for 20 yards or less. So he just, my level of concern is a 9, and it wasn't a 9 2 weeks ago. It's a 9. Genuinely, it's a 9. I get he's hurt, and that could play a massive factor because he is dealing with the heel injury. Obviously, wasn't able to finish the game. So obviously something's lingering that's not allowing him to get to the full potential that Hollywood Brown is, because we see him get open early in the season.
Yeah.
And there was just a couple missed balls, and his stats are very skewed. So the tape is there, right? But then you have injury concerns. Obviously, that's a factor for Hollywood Brown as well. He's always on the injury report. It feels like every single week. Always. And it's something you can't overlook, because if you're going to allocate $18 million, you got to understand that this is a player that's going to be taking up a big chunk of your cap. And if you're not playing with him, it's going to be tough. You got to have your players healthy, durable.
Yeah.
It's hard to find durability in the NFL because it's such a contact sport, but it exists. It exists. So I don't know. I feel like it's hard to judge in the past couple weeks because he's hurt, but it's not an excuse, right? Hollywood Brown, if you're going to play, it's what they say. If you play, you got to go out and perform. There's no excuses at the end of the day. If you're going to sit out, you're going to sit out, but there's no excuse.
Right. And I think the biggest reason why we're talking about it is because I just made a video about it, literally 30 minutes before we jumped on this live stream. I don't think right now we have the luxury to say, oh, hey, let him get healthy. Everything's fine. This is a contract year for Marquise Hollywood Brown. So we have, $50+ million. And I think last time we looked after the whole Zach Ertz situation, it might be close to 60 or a little over 60. But regardless, like we really got to figure out is if Marquise Hollywood Brown is the guy, and then B, can he stay healthy? Because we can't come out here and give him a custom wide receiving, contract. It's going to be depending on what the market entails. And what we talked about last time, it almost kind of feels like 18, 22, 23, 20. Like, and on top of that, the market just keeps going up for these guys, right? So like, yes, we have a lot of money, but are you willing to give a chunk of that money to Marquise Hollywood Brown? That's where it gets a little tricky. And it's also tricky too, because Marquise is Kyler's guy. So like that's tricky as well. So like you have to kind of, tiptoe this fine situation, this topic that I don't know. I feel like a lot of fans right now are kind of turned off on Marquise Hollywood Brown because the production isn't there. Look at the last 4 games from Kyler Murray. And Marquise Hollywood Brown. Yes, he did something in the Rams game, but let's call it like it is. Kyler Murray probably shouldn't be playing those last 2 or 3 drives because that game was done. It was kibbles. It was over. That might have been garbage yards, right? And there hasn't been that connection that we were all hoping to see with Marquise and Kyler. So this is tough. It's a tough topic. Now, obviously, we're not the ones making that decision. Thankfully, it's going to be Monty Ossenfort in the front office, but the injury concerns are seeming to kind of be piling up, and looking at the stats, they're not as impressive as I hoped they would be. Trey McBride, dude, has got 56 receptions, over 600 yards, 2 touchdowns. Marquise is at 4 touchdowns, and I think 574, if I'm not mistaken. But that's for the whole year. The whole year.
Yeah, it's tough. It's so tough. I don't know, because like there's a thin line of where you want to pay him. Obviously, the receiver market goes up. Christian Kirk a couple of years ago just broke the bank, and we're like, oh, it's such a bad contract. But that's where the market is. And Christian Kirk's not a bad receiver at all.
Yeah.
So I'd say Hollywood's a little bit better than Christian Kirk, just a little bit. But how much do you value Hollywood Brown at the end of the day then? 18 mil is probably pretty realistic. I can't imagine a world paying Hollywood Brown anything over 18. And 18's pushing it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, realistically, I'd like to snag him for 15, 16. But it's just like, it's not realistic.
I know.
And it sucks because I want to bring him in for that. Like, really bad. I want to bring him in for 15, 16 mil. But it's just how the market goes now. It's going to be a contract where we're looking at it, and it's going to be just one of those teams who's going to be willing to pay him. Maybe, what is it? You can like, is that in the NFL or is it just the NBA where you can put like a tag on a player, and if a team goes out and pays him, then you can match it?
Yeah. That's either restricted free agent.
I know in the NBA it exists, but I don't know if you can do it in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that it's a franchise tag or a non-exclusive
transition tag, right? Isn't it a transition tag or something?
Yeah,
like that?
I think so. I think I'm right. There is something with it because I remember. I think what's his name? Lamar Jackson was going through that.
I think so.
Now, obviously, they ended up paying him, but there was a situation where like there was topics about it. Like somebody can pay them more if they're willing to. Yeah, there is a thing. I forgot what it's called. It might be transition tag. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know what it is, but I think that would be a route they could take too. I think that's really possible, where you can just like put it out there and whatever team signs them, obviously you make the decision. Like if it's too high of a price, like if someone pays 22 mil, you just let him go.
Yeah.
But he said conversations have gone well with the organization. So what are we looking at? Do you think they've legitimately talked?
Yeah, I think they did. And I think with like any conversation, obviously when you're talking to the front office or for the business people, I think the conversation did happen. Now, whether he took it as it went well, then hey, I mean, it went well to him, right? But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think the Arizona Cardinals really need to evaluate who would they rather pay Because like if indeed a Michael Pittman is going to be available, if a T. Higgins is going to be available, if a Mike Evans is going to be available, and I get it, Mike Evans is 30. I understand that. But what I'm saying is like, where would you rather allocate that money? Because like we're going to be talking about what a $5 to $6 to $7 million difference, compared to what you're going to be giving Marquise compared to a top tier wide receiver, right? Because I'm not sure if anybody's going to get Tyreek money. Maybe we'll see. Maybe Mike Evans, but like I don't foresee T. Higgins getting that much, or maybe a Michael Pittman, maybe more than Marquise. But like it's just gonna really depend on where you want to allocate that money to. And to me, I'm having a hard time going back and forth saying I would rather have Marquise than any like over T. Higgins. I'm not sure if I would rather have him over T. Higgins or even Michael Pittman Jr. So
see,
it's
Michael Pittman is a very interesting person because I would allocate so much money to Michael Pittman. Imagine Michael Pittman and Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh my gosh. Michael Pittman is what, like 6'3"?
Yeah.
6'4"? I think he's 6'3", 6'4". He's 6'4". You're gonna have 2 6'4" receivers and Trey McBride. That is just like
wild.
Jeff's kiss.
And then you can do the Rondo Moore situation if that's what you want. And he's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than a Marquise Hollywood Brown is. And heck, why not bring Greg Dortch back for a cheap deal? And if you want to get that guy that's going to take the top off the field, you got your Rondo Moore and you got your Greg Dortch. Swap them back and forth, whoever has the hot hand. That's the way I like to look at it.
And you have Michael Wilson too.
Michael Wilson, yeah.
So maybe they really do rock with Michael Wilson. But like, what's tough about Michael Wilson is the durability.
Yeah, the health.
It's so hard to like see what you've seen and be like, oh, he's a receiver. Like Michael Pittman, I would invest money in. I don't know if he's a restricted or what, but man, I really hope the Cardinals pursue him. 26 years old. He has back-to-back 100-yard games, almost 3. He has 87 receptions, 889 yards, 4 touchdowns on the year. Fantastic receiver for the Colts, and they're playing with Gardner Minshew, who's been playing pretty well. I feel like Gardner Minshew is pretty underrated as a quarterback in the NFL, but
so I'm looking at his contract right now. So he was a second-round pick in 2020. So obviously they don't have the luxury to get the 5th round or the 5th-year option. So this is his last year, and he's going to be an unrestricted free agent per spot track on their website. So unrestricted free agent right now. So he's paid up until 2023. So,
and would you want to go pursue Michael Pittman?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna tell me I need to pay an extra $4, $5, $6 million for Michael Pittman, yes, I would skip on Marquise. 100%, I would skip on that.
I pay 20,
because like we just talked about, like Rondo Moore. I mean, I get it, dropped stuff, right? But like, if you're looking for a guy that should take the top off, this guy's make some really good catches, right? He's cheaper. Throw Greg Dortch in there as well to kind of, whoever has the hot hand. But like, I'm ready to see an offense that doesn't have a lot of guys smaller than 5'10". Like, I'm ready to move off of that whole Cliff Kingsbury, all these guys just running around, open space. Give me the contested catch. Give me the guy that's going to jump up to get that 50-50 ball. Give me Larry Fitzgerald back. That's what I've been longing for. And obviously, we've seen some flashes with Michael Wilson, but health is a concern. It's a big concern. But like Michael Pittman would be great. If we did get Marvin Harrison Jr., that would be wonderful. Because let's talk about that here a little later, like in the next couple minutes. Because I know there's some people that are like, this win hurt us, Mike. And I was like, bro, chill. I don't think it's hurt us, but we'll dive into that a little later on. But like, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Where were you going to allocate that money to? Like I said, if we're going to pay $5-6 million more on a wide receiver that we love, give me Michael Pittman, truly.
Because I don't know the market, right? I don't necessarily like know it like to a T, but I would say Pittman is probably worth around, because if I'm not mistaken, AJ Brown signed for like $25 million a year, and obviously it goes up. So if you're like, oh, you have to pay Pittman close to AJ Brown, you're probably going to have to. It's probably going to be very close, maybe like 22.5, $23 million for Pittman.
Yeah,
I think Hollywood Brown's estimated probably like 18, 19 mil, somewhere in that range. So I would pay that for Pittman. Genuinely, I would. That's just where I stand. And I feel like a lot of people do rock with Kyler. I don't know where Pittman stands, obviously. Like, I don't know if they have a connection or they even talk, but everyone after the game loves dapping up Kyler. Minka Fitzpatrick just jersey swapped with him. So for other people who don't say Kyler has respect in the NFL or whatever, people don't rock with Kyler. That's just not true.
Yeah.
So I feel like people would come here. If Pittman was to get a $23 million contract, I don't know how loyal he is to the Colts or like if they've had conversations or what, or if him and Jim Irsay have had conversations, but I really want Michael Pittman. Like, I feel like that is one of the free agents next year that the Cardinals desperately need to go after. Having 2 6'4" wide receivers, let's say we finish number 3, if we can genuinely pair Marvin Harrison and Pittman together, that is just dangerous, dangerous, dangerous.
And you could already tell, man, the comfortability. Like, just watch it. Just watch the games. Kyler Murray, just like, I don't know. There's something off with Hollywood, and I think it might be the injury. Right? It might be what it is. But just the connection. Like, I feel like Kyler has more of a comfortability with throwing the ball to Michael Wilson and even Trey McBride. Like, that ball that should have been a touchdown. He went up fingertips, caught that baby, caught that, and that. Yeah, I really wanted that to be a touchdown, but like, you can't throw that ball to Greg Dortch. You can't throw that ball to Marquise Hollywood Brown. Like, you got that for obviously Trey McBride. So give him taller guys. I think it's time. No more people running around and speedy. I'm cool with getting a speedster. That's fine. But like, I don't want my whole offense to be speedsters.
I agree.
Scheme of things.
I agree.
Let's move to this real quick, if you don't mind. I went live after the game, or not after the game, at around 8 o'clock, I believe, or 7 o'clock, talking about the Cardinals win. And there are some people saying, oh, this hurt us. But in the grand scheme of things, the Cardinals moved from 2nd to 3. And then the Cardinals moved from 17 to 18 because the Houston won as well. So, like, this is a prime position that you can get Marquise or Marvin Harrison Jr., correct? Like, especially if the Chicago Bears go quarterback. And the New England Patriots, let's be honest, the Patriots are tanking like nobody's business. They want a quarterback. The Cardinals are in prime position to get your Marvin Harrison Jr. This didn't hurt us. What do you think?
I agree if the Bears take a quarterback. Because here's what could get interesting. Patriots are sitting number 2. Yep. They could trade that number 2 for number 1.
True.
Chicago could trade back, and Chicago could take Marvin Harrison. So that's possible. And then the Bears go get an offensive lineman with number 5, like Ole or Olu, the left tackle.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they could really go out here and try to finesse it unless Arizona goes left tackle. But that's where it can get tricky, right? If they're like, Justin Fields is our guy for another year, and they're like, okay, we're not rocking with Caleb Williams, then New England obviously wants a quarterback. I don't think they've hidden that at all. I mean, they're rotating through anybody and everybody. They're like the New York Jets right now. So the fact that the Jets even have 4 wins is crazy, but I digress. Yeah, that's where it gets tricky though, because Caleb Williams, if the Patriots want him bad enough, we'll go get him. Right? I don't know if Bill Belichick. It's tough because New England could genuinely trade that, and then Chicago goes and takes Marvin Harrison Jr. if they build around Justin Fields, and that's something that could happen because they don't need that number 1 overall pick in their eyes potentially. But they could also be like, we're just going to take Caleb Williams. That's the best case scenario for us if we land 3, because then the Patriots either, I don't know, do they go Drake May? Like, I did feel like it's just another Mac Jones.
Oh, I agree with that. That's why I was never high on Drake May. I don't know who the Patriots want. I think the fans want Caleb Williams. There might be a portion that wants Drake May. I don't know, but I think Caleb Williams is going to be the guy that's the creme de la creme for at least most people who want quarterback. But yeah, you're right. I guess I didn't think of that. If the Chicago Bears does trade to 2nd and then they get Marvin Harrison, but that just puts the Cardinals in a good position too, because like we can trade back. We can trade back, for another quarterback needy team. Because if it is quarterback, wide receiver, we're not going to get a quarterback, or at least right now, I'm not thinking quarterback. So like the Cardinals can trade back and get an offensive line if there's still wide receiver that they possibly want, because there's still some really good wide receivers. I know there's a lot of people that feel like it's Marvin Harrison or bust, but don't feel like that. There's still a lot of good wide receivers in this draft. Adunze, Keon Coleman from FSU. This guy's pretty big. Malik Neighbors, I get it. He's not 6'4", but like, this man had a really, really good career as well. So the Cardinals can still make some damage. And Monty Ossenfort, we went through the list already, man. We've studied almost every person he's picked this last year. So I think Monty's going to get it right again.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the receiver, like, it's not that there's bad receivers in this draft. I feel like there's some good receivers for sure. Maybe some great ones, but I feel like Marvin Harrison's generational. And that's what it's tough. Like, you see a talent that's like just so I don't know. It's just one of those wide receiver prospects that there's no doubt in my eyes should be a top 3 pick. And it's crazy because obviously not a lot of receivers go top 3, but it's like, I was so confident that he's just going to come in here and be so generational. I can't say that about any other receiver.
That's fair.
And I haven't really been able to the past couple of years. Obviously Justin Jefferson has kind of like been one of those guys who's been generational, and then AJ Brown, but like not a lot of receivers in the top 10 who have been generational or even picked in the top 10.
Well, Marvin Harrison's good. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's looking really good with Dallas. Well, he was picked up 17 or 16 to Dallas. Jerry Jeudy has not shooken out to be that great as well. It's been a while since we've seen a wide receiver to the caliber of Marvin Harrison Jr. That's very true. Last I can remember, like with the hype, I guess the hype that came along with it, because Jefferson didn't have the hype. He was picked up 24, 26 to the Vikings. He was picked up like far.
I think he was back end of the first. I don't know what pick, but it was back end.
Yeah, it was definitely back end. So I mean, we'll see. That there's a lot of opportunity here for the Cardinals to really change the way this roster is going to look like, and I think that's what gets me really excited. Like just how different this roster is going to be, because there's so many people that are getting paid for the Arizona Cardinals. They're like on 1 to 2 year deals. They're getting paid like less than $3-4 million that they're going to be cut. They're going to be gone. Maybe Marco Wilson will be one of those guys that get cut and gone too, because I'm liking what I'm seeing from Keitrell Clark and his return.
I agree.
But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. So right now, all we can hope is that the Texans continue to lose, and that the Chicago Bears completely give up on Justin Fields, because that is exactly what we need, especially if you want a Marvin Harrison Jr. to be on your roster next year. So
exactly, we need it. We need it.
Were you worried about the win in terms of draft capital, or did you what do you feel about, I guess, this win and maybe the next 4 games? Do you want to win? Do you not want to win? What are your thoughts?
I would have no problem losing out for the rest of the year. I wouldn't have had a problem losing yesterday. It's nice to see the fight. Don't get me wrong. No player or coach wants to lose. And the players have acknowledged it. James Conner said after the game, the team, despite the record, plays hard and could be in a way better position. I think we all know that. But fudge, dude. It's tough because how you get 2 wins and then you're probably out of the top 5. The Patriots, I don't see them getting a single win for the rest of the year. Carolina's going to struggle. Washington's not good.
Look how heavy this is, man. You're talking about the Jets. There's like 4 or 5 teams with 4 and 8. We got another people with 5 wins. Like there's a group of people that are just very, very bad. And it literally seems like one more win can shoot us back outside the top 3.
Especially that Chicago game.
I mean, that's going to be a pretty pivotal game there for the Cardinals if they do win. But 49ers, I don't see a win. Eagles, I don't see a win. The Seahawks, I feel like the Seahawks are going to fight for something in that game. Playoffs, something. I feel like they're gonna fight. The Bears right now seems to be the elephant in the room. Are they going to be destroying our draft position? Do you see the Panthers winning any games? They played tough against the Bucks.
I don't know. The Panthers have played a couple teams tough this year, and they just fired their coach. So I mean, they really have nothing to lose. They don't even own the pick. So
true. They don't own the pick. Yeah.
They really don't own the pick, so it doesn't even matter. But they played a couple teams pretty close. Like they played Chicago really close earlier. They played Tennessee and Tampa Bay back to back really close. I'm pretty sure they played New Orleans really close. I think it's the Vikings very early on in the season, maybe like week 3. I remember Kirk Cousins was playing and they won it's like a 6-point game or something like that against them. But they've had some close games, right? Like they're not even supposed to be good at all. Yeah. This team sucks. But I feel like the Panthers play well, but not enough to get a win. So maybe they pop off for one more, but even then, it's tough. I mean, that'd be the best case. I don't know if that's the best case scenario, though. We kind of want Chicago to have the opportunity to get Caleb Williams in my eyes.
Right. You want them to lose and give up on Fields.
Yeah, or you just have the Cardinals get the number 1 overall pick and just orchestrate everything. But, I mean...
You're going to have to ask Mr. Patriots over there to win one more game, though, because they're sitting at 2-10, where the Cardinals are 3-10, and then the Carolina Panthers are at 1-11.
Patriots suck, dude.
Yeah.
6 points last week, I believe, and 0 points this week. They just lost a game 6-0. You can't tell me that's not a tank. Like, that's what a tank looks like. That's what a tank looks like.
100%. They are not playing tough. They are absolutely tanking.
No one cares. No one cares. They're rotating quarterbacks left and right, and it just like doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, no one cares on that team.
Yeah.
That team is so far gone. There's no talent anywhere. Like, name 2 players on that team who you are like, this is a player we can build around.
The Patriots?
Yeah.
I really like their cornerback. The kid that they picked up, Christian Gonzalez.
He's hurt, though.
He's hurt, yeah. I don't know who their wide receivers are, to be honest with you. I don't know any of their. Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it? Ramondre Stevenson, their running back. I know he got hurt too.
I'm not even sold on him.
Yeah.
Like
Ezekiel Elliott, Zeke
and Mike Gesicki,
yeah,
and Matt Judon. Like, they have no like pieces to build. Like, that's such a weird team to take over because you have such an old school head coach too, who would really ideally love that Tom Brady. People are seeing it now. I always got called crazy. Like, Bill Belichick is the reason Tom Brady was good. Like, I promise you, it's so like they both play a factor, right? Bill Belichick was,
of course,
defensive oriented, and Tom Brady kind of just like, okay, you worry about that. I got this under control. Like, don't worry about this side of the ball as much because I got you. Like, we're gonna go ahead and take care of our stuff, and you kind of lock in on defense. And defense has won them some Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady has also won them some Super Bowls. So, I mean, it goes neck and neck, but Bill Belichick's so old school. So seeing someone like Caleb Williams on that team would be such a dynamic. Right? I don't know. It's very bizarre because Caleb Williams and Bill Belichick, it's like you got this like quote unquote generational talent, but like it's just a player that you like couldn't imagine playing for Bill Belichick, right? Because it would like, I feel like Caleb Williams is such a big personality. I feel like that's a good word. He's just such a big personality to go to New England out of all places and kind of just like buy into Bill Belichick's
way,
like Patriot culture.
Yeah.
I just can't see that. Like, that is such a weird fit. Like, I know Patriots fans want that. I can't see that.
It's like disaster waiting to happen, I feel like. And on top of that, he doesn't even play. He plays in like beautiful, sunny, California weather too. And then Drake May, I was never a big fan of Drake May. And if he comes out here and shows up, cool, awesome, good for him. I'm just not a fan of him. I don't know. I just feel like it's the same kind of guy that we've been seeing all the time. And I don't know. There's nothing special about him. We'll see, man. We'll see. Obviously, we're in December already. We got 4 months from the NFL draft. Well, it's going to be a long 4 months, maybe closer to 5 because it's towards the end of the April. So, but we got free agency in March. That's huge. Right. Super Bowl in February. We got playoffs in January. From here, it's smooth sailing, baby. Let's go. Let's build up this roster for 2024. I'm absolutely super excited. Let me ask you this question real quick. Do you see the Cardinals sitting Kyler? I know, random question, but I saw it in the chat. I want your take. Do you think the Cardinals will decide to sit Kyler for whatever reasons, right? They think he's the guy. There's no point. We're bought in, or draft capital, whatever the heck the reason is. Do you see them sitting Kyler?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think they're going to ride it out. I feel like it makes sense to ride it out as well. Just let Kyler get comfortable, like with momentum going into 2024. Obviously, an injury would suck. I think they're going to rock with him for the rest of the year. I think it's smart to do that. Let him get comfortable, take these last couple reps going with momentum, and just get fluidity, right? Just get fluidity of the offense going in, and then just build off that. Do you think they're gonna potentially bench him?
No, I've said this before. Like I really want to see him play the games. It's just the risk of injury scares me. Not gonna lie to you, especially because our offensive line isn't the best. But like as long as we're kind of having the same type of game plan, and I get it. The Steelers are or the 49ers are a much different breed than the Steelers are, and that kind of what really worries me. But like, uh, just let's go in with the game plan of let's not try to say that the shotgun is going to win this. No, just do what we did against the Steelers. Get some protection for Kyler Murray. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we'll obviously talk about it then. But I don't want to see Kyler Murray 75-80% in shotgun anymore. I'm tired of that. I feel like we got to evolve from that situation. And on top of that, when you're under center, you're getting more protection for having more people in line, obviously different formations and stuff. So
yeah. The line scares me so much.
That's the scary part, and that's really kind of what I was really leaning towards. Like, do you see him sitting Kyler because A, they're already bought in, like he's going to be the guy, right? And then B, injury is a big concern as well, because we don't want to see Kyler go down, because then that opens up a whole nother Pandora's box. Because what, you expect another time for him to miss again for the start of the 2024 season? No, we just went through that in 2023. So that's kind of a lot of things that kind of flowed in through my mind. I don't see it happening, but like we have a pretty tough schedule to close it out. Not talking about the Bears, but you know,
that defense though for Chicago is kind of nice. So they got pieces. We play every defense from the rest of the season that I feel like is pretty tough. I don't feel like there's a defense that's like slouching. Like Seattle's probably the worst. I think in terms of defenses,
defense.
It's
Okay, gotcha.
San Fran 1, Philly 2. It goes in order in my eyes. It's San Fran, or not in order. It's going to be San Fran, Philly, Chicago,
Defense.
Seattle. Yeah.
Chicago's offense blows.
Yeah. It's just like the Steelers.
Yeah, exactly. But their defense is very good. And then I think it's the kind of the opposite for the Seahawks. Although I think the Seahawks, didn't they beat us pretty good when we met them this time around? But I mean, obviously it wasn't with Kyler, so different beasts, and I get that.
What like did happen in the Seattle game this year?
Right, it's kind of like blanking my mind right now. Let me take a look here.
I don't remember that game. 10-20. I do remember this game. This is the game where literally I'm pretty sure we got nothing going in the second half.
Yep.
It was 14-10 going into the second half, and we just couldn't put up a point. And our defense came out and held them to 6. Like, this is what I'm saying. We have Kyler Murray, we win this game.
Yep. I get it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, and that's the thing too with the Seahawks. You know, their offense is, you know, they click. They got good wide receivers, DK and Tyler Lockett, but like their defense isn't the greatest. But like that cornerback that they have over there, Devon Witherspoon, however you say his first name, but Witherspoon, that kid looks good. And I was so high up on him. I really, really liked him as a cornerback. I was like, man, this kid looks really, really good. But I knew that deep down it was either going to be trenches. What Monty was going to go for, but you know, it's a glowing need for the Cardinals 2 cornerback. That kid looks good. I'm not going to lie.
It sucks when they got Tariq Woolen and Devon Witherspoon. Right? It sucks when you got both of those guys. Young corners.
Secondary, if they can get maybe one more piece, looks pretty good. Because I mean, they got Jamal Adams as well. This guy's injured a lot, but like this guy blitzes a lot, and when it works, it works. But like, I don't know, they got a pretty good secondary.
They really do, because they also got what's his face, the other safety, Quandre Diggs.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, right. Yep.
So, I mean, if they can build that front 7 a little bit, because they made that trade for Leonard Williams earlier as well to bolster that front 7 and help them make a playoff run, which I don't hate, right? But I'm pretty sure they gave up a 2nd-round pick. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot, but it was a need. That front 7 is not great anymore. But they also do have Bobby Wagner, and then Jordan Brooks, I believe, is the linebacker there too. Like, they just need help on the defensive line. They get help on that D line, then I mean they're pretty good. But obviously Seattle has some holes. The offensive line's not the best for them, and then their D line's not the best, but they have talent everywhere. So I hate it because Seattle's not that far off from being good again.
Yeah.
And neither are the Rams, which sucks because the Rams could easily just go ahead and as soon as all this money clears up, go ahead and speed the rebuild up, which sucks because it looks like Puka Nacua is going to pan out for him too. And they have Cooper Kupp, and it's just like, okay. Everyone seems like I really hope the NFC West is going to turn up again.
I think so. I think so. I think the Cardinals are going to be good. I'm okay. I'm not saying Super Bowl. I'm not going to be dumb and be like, oh, we're going to go from first to best. No. But I think the Cardinals are going to make some noise, man. We're going to have so much money. Like if Monty Alford is going to make this team and his vision, I have faith, man. I have faith. We got what 5-6 picks, and we already named 4 or 5 of them studs. You know what I mean? Dante Stills, come on, like. We're looking pretty good. Give him another year, especially Garrett Williams, Keichel Clark. If we can make him our number 3 or heck number 2, I'm positive. I'm positive about maybe next year and see what we can do moving forward. So, anything else you want to talk about before we close up shop today?
I think that's about it. But 2 years, I think this team is going to be really, really good. I can't wait.
Really, really good. All right. Perfect. All right. Everybody here in the chat, appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't done so already, smack the like button here on this video. Help out the algorithm. If this is your first time here, subscribe it up. This is where basically me and Mythic AZ chop it up and talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. We go live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we're going to continue to do it for the rest of the season. And the rest of the off season. I'm stoked, man. I think you're excited about the off season, including as me. So we're going to be closing up shop. If you do want to take us on the road, we are now streaming on Apple Podcast. Look up Big Red Pod. You should be able to find us on there. Ariel, have a great rest of your day as always, and go Cards.